Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle and triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. What do you think is the number one lesson you've learned from your life? All this journey you've been on?
Oh, that nothing very serious is going on here.
Yes. Yes,
Oh
yes.
my gosh, but it feels so serious.
It
Feels
does.
so real. There's all these circumstances and people and feelings and pain and suffering. Oh my God, it's so great.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
It's so funny that you say that because I on Mondays, usually on Mondays, I read from my old journals from when I was like 12.
wow.
And yeah, I do an hour of reading in chronological order on my page. And it's so interesting how much I forgot
Mhm.
and how distraught I was while writing
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
it's so serious while it's happening.
Oh my gosh, yes, of course.
And I'll literally be reading and I am mad in my journal. I am crying. I'll even put like arrows, like, look at these tears that fell onto my journal.
That's so
Because
great.
because I'm like, right now I'm reading, I'm 15, so I'm like totally boy crazy.
Yeah.
And so, and I can remember like, oh yeah, I was so mad. But I'll literally, because I do commentary while I'm reading, so I'll read a
Mhm.
section and then I'll be, I'll like give feedback. And there's times when I'll literally read and I'll be like, I have zero recollection of what the hell all of this is.
Right?
And so you're so right. Like
Yeah.
that's not just because I was 15, 16, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
All the things,
Yeah, we're
all
making
the
up
things.
all of the meaning. We're
Yeah.
making up and it's fascinating. Like I'm so grateful to transformational leadership training and like this like looking at things and really looking at what is. Like what are you actually experiencing right now? Because my mind would tell me that I'm experiencing the judgments that I'm making up about what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
But really, let's really look at what are you feeling right now? I might feel a tightness in my chest. I might feel an acceleration of my heartbeat. I might feel the cold temperature of the air in the room on my skin, right? But like, I'm not feeling that person betrayed me. That's not a feeling. That's a thought. That is
Yes.
a thought that I made up and then assigned to the feeling that I'm having, right? So we are
Yes.
making it all up. So why not make up stuff that works for us? Why not make
Yeah.
up a story that is like fun, Or I mean, and drama can be fun. This is where it's like, oh, why would you ever, want something, whatever? Like, look at the world, and there's some suffering happening somewhere, and be like, how could you believe in a God that lets that happen in the world? And be like, I mean, how do you go see movies and they shoot each other in the movies?
Yeah.
And yet you paid to see that movie. Like, what are you talking about?
Good
The world
point.
is just a 3D movie, right?
Good
Like
point.
I mean,
Yeah.
we horror and romantic comedy. There's always heartbreak in there. Like, so why would it be okay on a screen and not okay in our life? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be any more serious than that. And I mean, it's hard to hear some of this stuff. I know we take ourselves so seriously.
Yeah.
Well, my life is real, and I have a mortgage, and I have like a job. I can't just not work my job. I mean, you could. There's consequences in the world of form that there aren't on stage, right? But we can reinvent ourselves like that if we're willing to give up the way we have it. But
Yeah. And that's what people don't realize is how quickly you can change it.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember the first time I came to that realization was the first time I saw Tony Robbins live.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah. And the switch, he did this one exercise where he made us over and over and over and over again with a partner go from, well, you're in freaking acting, so like, but you can go from happy to
Mhm.
sad
Mhm.
to angry to, and maybe 3 or 4 things. But he made you do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and really embrace the feeling. And it was such an awakening to me on how we have more control than we
Mhm.
think we do with our emotions,
Yep.
with our
Yep.
feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, I love to do when I do transformational leadership training, improv for that. There's a game I use, and I use it a lot anyway. Even because anytime I'm teaching improv, I'm teaching transformational leadership. It is
Yes.
like because it's all just make believe. So one game is called I call it carpool. Some people might call it hitchhiker or something else, but you basically you have 4 people, like in car seats, and then you have them each sit in there, and you assign an emotional state to each one of them. And then you have them get out of the car, and they'll get into the car one at a time with their emotional state. And so the driver, let's say the driver's pissed. Ah, man, stupid man, going to Disneyland. I hate Disney, whatever. Oh, there's traffic, of course, blah, blah. And then they have to pick up their friend, and their friend is excited, right? So as soon as their friend gets in the car, the angry driver it's contagious because moods and emotions are contagious, becomes excited. My gosh, I'm so happy you're here. I was having a bad day, but now I feel great. We're going to Disney. Woo! Yeah, you can just change it like that. And then they go and they pick up sad or like depressed and like, oh, get in the car. I don't want to go to Disney. I'm afraid of people. There's going to be people everywhere. And then they pick up, I don't know, horny or something like, hey, I'm like, oh, right. And you can just switch right through those emotions,
Wow.
and it's fun. It can be.
Wow.
It might be
Yeah.
terrifying for some, and some people find out what their range of emotions is, because a lot of times we're kind of muting our actual experience of life.
Yeah.
But why not go way high, way low, way high, way low, wee, wee, like a ride?
Yes. Yes. What is the moral with that exercise? What are you teaching?
Well, it depends. So
Because I get it, but I want to know what the core is.
I'm a big fan of people unpacking for themselves. What is it for? Like, what are you now aware of? How could we apply this in our lives?
Got it.
They'll unpack for themselves what is the
Yes.
takeaway, because there's dozens of them. And who am I to
Yes.
say that this is the reason that I teach this lesson? I like
Okay.
to give people an experience, because experience is the master teacher.
Absolutely.
I can talk about a thing, but until someone does it, they won't know the thing. It's like riding a bike. We can talk about riding a bike, we read about riding a bike, watch somebody else ride a bike, but until we get on the bike and ride, we have no idea what that's like.
Absolutely. Oh, that is so great. That is so great. I'm glad I asked that question. I almost didn't because I get it,
Mhm.
but I get it for
Yes,
me.
correct. I would
So,
have no idea of knowing
yeah.
what the lesson would be for you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
I can tell you
so
what my lessons are, but if you don't have them, it's of no value.
yes. Oh, good job, Sabrina.
Well done.
Yes. So what do you do? Tell us what you do. Obviously you're full of so many surprises, but I'd love to tell our audience, what you do in the world, what you do for business, what you do for humankind.
Sure. I would say that I'm a builder. I love building community. I love building people up. I love building visions. I love to build. And how I do that practically in the world is a couple of different ways. I have my own yoga massage movement studio now in a little village in Edwardsburg, Michigan. And I am also in service to my community. So I'm on my chamber. I'm in my local Rotary Club. I'm the VP of Rotary this year. And I also serve through a Course in Miracles class. I have a discussion group that I do Monday nights virtually and in person. I'm teaching like a couples massage course coming up here. It's a hybrid of in person and virtual for people to learn how to
That's
massage their
fun.
partner or their kid or somebody that, if they're still kind of in their homes and not really getting out much, and they have aches and pains and they want to help each other out. I'm teaching just basic techniques for that. So that's coming up like Valentine's weekend. And I do some like retreat type stuff. So I'll do corporate team building through improv. I have an event. It's a transformational improv 1-day event the end of April coming up with a company called Redesign down in Charlotte. So I kind of just do whatever I want because I like it. I'm the boss.
I love it. I love it. Where can people find you?
They can check me out at the Studio M as in Mary 62.com, or they could
Okay.
check me out at nextlevelimprov.com, or
Okay,
they
what is it? The what?
the Studio M as in Mary 62.com is the wellness stuff. And then,
why this? Why is it called this?
well, so the studio, it was you and I were chatting before we got on,
Yeah.
and this building and I have like a soul contract, so it was always going to be the studio, and I wanted to do massage, yoga, acting, piano. I teach and I sing, so I could do voice lessons. It was like a creative studio, but also a healing studio. So the studio was encompassing of all of the modalities that I play with. And then the M62 is where it's located.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So that's where people can find us. And then
Beautiful.
Next Level Improv is my company. The studio is just a project of Next Level Improv.
Okay.
And Next Level is, I have a .com page for that too, or you can find me on Facebook.
What is it? Next Level?
Next Level Improv, because improv is a way to take your life or your experience of life to the next level.
Is it a .com also?
It is, yeah. And that was founded back in Florida, probably about 7 years ago. I had a guy that was part of this group called Heart Space, and we would meet on Monday nights and do meditations, and somebody from the group would present their business or their testimonial. One lady did like crop circles, and one guy who survived World War II would just tell his story. So it was just a really neat group of people. We started at like 6 people and we grew to over 200 people.
Wow.
And the founders ran a recovery center in Delray Beach, Florida. And so one time I presented improv, and I think they came and saw an improv show too. And they were like, "Hey, Julie, we want to do something different with our recovery center, and we want to try different modalities. And we think if you would come and teach our population improv, that would really help them. It'd be a nice replacement technique. Like now that they're not drinking or using or gambling or whatever, feel like having something that they can do and improv." So we tried it out. Like they brought in an acupuncture, chiropractic, whatever. But I used to teach kickboxing for them too, like self-defense and stuff for the girls, and then improv. And of all of the things that they had smatterings and samples of, they liked improv the best. And we got feedback from their caseworkers, from their their social workers or their psychotherapists that were like, after improv, these kids, I mean, they called them kids, but they're adults too. They were much easier to express their emotions. They were much kinder to one another because, again, the principles of improv are, how can I make my scene partner look amazing? And I got your back. So if you're willing to start adopting those belief systems or those principles, and then walk them out, actually live from them, then they were having really good experiences. So that was fun. That's where Next Level started, was in that recovery community.
Wow, very cool. Absolutely. We still have quite a few people here watching live right now. So I'd like to kind of, you start to close up here. But before we do that, I'd like to kind of get your take on what you view success as. What does success mean to you?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, success for me is enjoying the journey.
Absolutely.
It's joy on the journey, because there's nothing to get.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to get to.
Yeah.
Many people who get where they think they want to be, once they get there, it doesn't provide whatever they thought it was going to. And so if you can't have fun on the ride, get off the ride.
Absolutely.
Find a different ride.
Yeah, I think once people, or if a person can understand that, I think it makes life a lot more fun.
Yes. Yeah.
We're like always running towards something. Like, what do we get? And that's not even, a lot of times once we get all the things, we're like, okay, cool.
Now what? Next?
Next journey. Yeah.
And then we start again, and we start at square one. We love the journey. Like we're all about, if humans are not in useful service or challenging themselves or working on themselves, we're either growing or we're dying, right? So it's like, if I'm not taking on something that I don't know how to do yet, then I'm like, what am I doing? I mean, I'm not that I can't just keep doing the things that I love to do, but I will forever be a student of life because there's so much to experience here in the great human amusement park that, like, why wouldn't you try another ride? Try another ride. Whee, that was fun. What's next?
Exactly. I totally agree with that. And when I finally realized that, it was a huge shift for me, just in general. And you know what? I actually kind of take that back because I think I've always kind of lived my life that way. But once it was put into words and like said to me, because I've always liked the journey. I think I'm just an entrepreneur by heart, but I didn't know, no one ever laid it out for me before. Once it was laid out for me, it felt good.
Yeah.
You know, it felt really good. I'd like to ask, as our closing question here, what advice you'd give to females who are struggling with their self-worth right now?
Oh, I'm not big on advice. I'm a coach. I like to tease advice out of other people. So, I mean, I guess just give it a minute. This too shall pass.
Yeah.
I mean, and whatever we feed grows. So if I'm going to feed the feeling of self-worth, which I definitely have, like like I mentioned earlier, now it's not that the thought never comes on my stage anymore. I just don't pick it up and play with it,
Yeah.
and you totally can. And maybe people aren't in the space of realizing that they have a choice to lay that down, like a badge of honor, like just put it down, but they don't know how to put it down. And so you don't know how to put it down until you know how to put it down. So, like, be gracious with yourself, be gentle, like, and this too shall pass. It will. It always does.
100%, 100%. Well, listen, Julie, I so appreciate you taking some time out of your day. We still have people hanging out. Any closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to say to these wonderful people that are chilling with us for this last
Oh,
little
well, just
bit?
maybe give yourself a challenge
Ooh,
every day. Just give yourself a challenge of, can I be the reason that somebody smiles today?
absolutely.
Can I be that light that lightens someone else's load or brightens the room?
That's a
Or
great closing.
yeah.
Yes. And we're morning. It's morning time. So this is great.
Yes.
This is great. Well, listen, I so appreciate you, like I said, coming on here and taking some time out of your day. For those of you that are still watching live, we appreciate you supporting us and loving us and listening in. I hope you got some awesome nuggets out of that. I know I did. And for those of you watching on replay, if you've made it this long, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Make sure you hashtag replay so that we know that you were here and that you listened to us. Julie will be more than happy to respond and say hello to you guys. So thank you so much for joining us here on Her Version. This community is expanding every single day and is filled with females who are striving to do better than they did yesterday. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you subscribe. If you have an amazing story to share of struggle to triumph, be sure to reach out to me here at herversion.life. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I'm so grateful to be here sharing a platform that allows people to share their truth and inspire others. Do something awesome.